Where do we begin? I think that's the goal there, to be honest. That hockey was phenomenal. Oh, we're sponsored by, well, a man can dream.
A man can dream,
Wow,
but we're moving on to the second round against the Battle of Alberta. Let's go!
Hey, Bruce, there it is. Bruce, there it was.
St. Louis decided to just blow up completely in the trade deadline.
I wish it wasn't Adam Fox.
It's two juggernauts just colliding with each other. If he doesn't beat Tampa in the first round, he's out of a job. What?
Weird. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that the finals has concluded onto the offseason. The draft's coming up, but as well, too, some news. So let's talk about some news, hey? Columbus Blue Jackets are the first one I want to talk about here, B-Dog, because of a few things. A trade and a signing. I want to talk about the trades first because suddenly Columbus, their defense looks not too bad when it's healthy. So let's kind of get into this here. The first one that happened was the Ivan Provorov trade. So it was a three-team trade. Ivan Provorov goes to the Columbus Blue Jackets. 30% salary is retained by the third team in this deal, the LA Kings. The LA Kings get prospects in Hayden Hodgson and Kevin Connaughton. Philly, now they get a whole bunch of draft picks. LA's 2023 first. Then they get 24 or 25 conditional second from Columbus. A 24 second from LA. Then they get LA's Sean Walker and Cal Peterson and Helge Grans. So another prospect there. And suddenly, LA's goaltending tandem is going to be Phoenix Copley and Korpisalo. And yeah, Columbus gets a defenseman and Ivan Provorov. So that's pretty nice. But then, wait, there's more, you ask. Oh yeah, well, there's more. Of course there is. Let's go to the Damon Severson trade, which let me pull this one up too, as I just lost it again. So Damon Severson goes to the Columbus Blue Jackets in a sign-in trade, actually. He signed for 8 years for $6.25 million. And he gets, the Devils in return get the 2023 third-round pick, which Columbus got from Calgary. Anyways, let's look into Columbus's defense pairing now, as it looks if they were healthy. Damon Severson's on this team. Ivan Provorov, Eric Gudbranson, Andrew Peak, Adam Boqvist. And then as well, Jake Bean and Zach Werenski. That's not terrible. So I gotta say, what do you think about these trades? You know, who won them? If you want to even say that, answer that too. But I think Columbus looks a little more upgraded for sure.
Yeah, I guess you could say that because Ivan Provorov was probably one of the best defenders from Philly, and obviously Philly is fully committing to the rebuild situation. Finally took them long enough. But what also concerns me about this is Columbus might be speeding up their rebuild now, because obviously you saw this with Patrick Linegan signed there for long term. You just saw this with Gaudreau signed there long term. And I think we first heard it with the rumors that they might trade the third overall pick to Calgary for Elias Lindholm. There was a lot of rumors with that.
We need Leo Carlson, please.
Yeah, so there was a lot of rumor with that. And then you see this, and I think a lot of their fans are getting kind of concerned by them speeding up the rebuild situation, because Columbus kind of has needed that little rebuild again. I think they totally should have, but I mean, it's still a good upgrade to your defense, which you needed, but you still are speeding up the process a lot faster than you want. But I mean, if it works out, it works out. Then that will decide if you're a winner or not of this. Philly, I really like the package you did get out of this, because you got a first and a second, so you can never complain about that. Kyle Peterson, that is a heavy contract to take, but he did show a little bit of potential with the Kings before he fell. So maybe a different environment will definitely help him. Who knows? Same with Sean Walker. He was like a low depth defenseman for LA. And honestly, he could still help Philly in a rebuilding situation. But I got to give a lot of credit to the Kings, because they just cleared almost $6 million cap space from this trade.
Clearing cap. I've
Like,
been saying Austin Matthews might not want to be in Toronto any longer.
like, dude, this was actually so smart by the Kings here.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was making Toronto trade. On Catfront, you can do like the trade, the armchair GM mode where you can
Oh,
like
yep.
trades. It was me trading Matthews to LA, and Sean Walker was one of my depth pieces to add to sweeten up the deal a little bit. So I think that's kind of funny that happens.
Did you get the deal?
I can't even remember, bro.
Oh.
All I remember is doing it and looking to my buddy, and I'm like, dude, this is awful. I just turned it off. I'm like, I'm not a GM.
Well, like, I think honestly, the Kings are one of the bigger, like, I think every team is a winner in their own sense here, because obviously Philly is a winner for taking that step of a new direction for their team. LA is a winner because they cleared cap space and they have young players to sign and possibly would want players in free agency to take. And I think truly the loser is Columbus, but they have to decide their own fate in this sense of that, because I think Provorov is still a great defenseman, but out of what everyone else did, you might be it's so hard to say, but I think like the true loser is Columbus right now, but I guess time will tell with this trade. But I think everyone got what they needed out of the trade.
Yeah, I love the points that you make for all of them. I focus more on Columbus in the sense just because I think they're, the main target of this. They have 5.8 million in open cap right now projected. The one thing that you were kind of mentioning is like, if you're speeding up the rebuild, that's a good point to make. I think Columbus fans probably believe a few things here. Either you're speeding it up because, one, you have aging stars like Johnny Gaudreau, and you probably want to make Laine happy a little bit, or this could be Jarmo Kekalainen, their general manager, his last little run with the club, and maybe he wants to make a splash before. GMs seem to like to do something where they make a big splash before they like leave it all, and then they kind of just leave that mess to the next guy because, hey, it's not my job anymore. Why not? And it seems to happen all the time. Maybe it's happening here. And I do agree, like, it does feel a little rushed. You don't want to, but although it's a nice look, it's just good defense, but maybe fix your goaltending tandem too, You might have to figure that out if you're going to do this correctly. Also too, if Columbus does let go of their third overall, that's well, hey, I'm not the GM here, so I won't say no. Philly has to do that, especially if the Carter Hart trades come into play.
I was going to actually mention that as well. Since they did get Peterson from the Kings, now that really looks at what they do with Carter Hart, because he's still a young potential goaltender, but he just hasn't had that defensive pair like core in Philly to really help him out. So honestly, what do you see a team he could potentially go to that needs goaltending and have a solid defense?
There's a lot of teams that need goaltending. All I know is I have a slight feeling that if he goes to a team, he might have some success instantly. Maybe not instantly, but I mean, it doesn't it seem like one of those storylines that sets up for a Stanley Cup win for Carter Hart? Like,
I mean,
I've been bad at predicting the past few months, so maybe I'll shut up with it.
Who knows?
But I think Hart, a change of scenery will really prove that he is what he can be. I think that kind of seems unfortunate for Philly fans. I've seen that online a little bit, that Philly fans don't seem too happy about it, of course, because he's still young enough that he could stay with that rebuild and have the success when the rebuild is done. But yeah, I think he is a lot better than we've seen. And maybe he won't be able to shine until he goes to someplace. Okay, let's think of places. Of course, Edmonton's in that list, right? Every year, goalie problems. So,
what do you mean? You really think they want to move off a Skinner this quick?
Why would you? Like, honestly,
why?
That dude has made massive improvements in like 1 to 2 years. I remember the first season he was in, his first start, he looked shaky. I think he was like their third string.
Yeah.
Because he was like their first or second in Bakersfield. From that to this season, he's improved. So you just keep working with him. I think you have a starting goalie who's gonna win you 30 plus games.
And you really want to
let time tell, But Hart, and too, like, sorry, let me look at Hart's contract here. Let me get to it.
Well, I was also going to add on to that. Does Edmonton seriously want to add another young goaltender that will probably struggle in a new environment the first season where you're
It's
trying
hard,
to
right?
already win? And I think stick with Skinner, man. He's
Um,
got a year under his belt and he didn't do too bad. Just give him
yeah,
time. He's
like
young.
Carter Hart 3.97 for 1 year, then he's an RFA. Who else needs a goalie? Um, heck,
Winnipeg, actually, because I guess Hellebuck doesn't
yeah,
want to
good
stay.
point, right? Good point. I mean, Hellebuck won't go to Philly, of course, but that's a good one. I mean, dude, the Habs are gonna. I don't know if you can stick with Montembeault for so long. Nothing
Whoa.
against Montembeault.
Oh my
That would be a
God.
solid one,
That would be
actually.
solid.
I mean, dude, Montreal getting a solid goalie, right? You know, someone who's gonna somewhat replace Price. You can't really replace him, but you
That's
know
a
that
good,
makes your retool process much better because that's what you need. Uh,
especially in a young environment too, that Montreal already is. Imagine Carter Hart there. He would probably, in a big market like that, like Montreal, he would probably get a lot of praise from the fans too.
like maybe Hart would Vancouver. Like Vancouver's probably gonna have to let Demko go, so maybe that. Um, St. Louis actually, I heard that might be one that they might look at, which would make sense because I think they want to get rid of Binnington.
Dude, is this
Could-
going to be a crazy goalie free agency?
Bro, all I know is this
Oh my
offseason might be
God.
crazier than last season, bro.
Well,
Which
yeah,
is phenomenal because
dude,
last
this
season,
might be a crazy goalie offseason.
you know, speaking of teams that we talk about that have made some changes, Columbus made a change too.
Ooh, yes, they
That was a
did.
terrible transition. But yeah, they're gonna be hiring Mike Babcock. Well, they will hire him when his Toronto contract is done by July 1st, I think, or June 30th. Anyways, Mike Babcock will be the next head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I need to hear your thoughts on this because this can be very controversial in many ways.
Okay. So Mike Babcock is the new head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. So now you see why I said it's kind of looking like they're rebuilding pretty quick because you bring in an old coach, you bring in an old system, and now you got a bunch of long-term contracts. Like, dude, oh my God, I don't even know what to say. Like, why Mike Babcock? What, like, I know he obviously, if you look at his resume, Stanley Cup champion coach. He's got like Jack Adams up the ass. Like, dude, he's still a great experienced coach, but
Was he the
I
coach for
don't
the
know if
2010
this was the
team?
right decision.
Was he the coach for the 2010 team? I know he was for the 14 team.
Yeah, I think he was for 2010 as well.
Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, in the
So
Olympics.
he's got gold medals to show off as well.
He's got a great coaching resume. I'm not
He
gonna lie,
does,
but
yeah.
at the same time, he's an older coach, so it probably has an older system. And you saw what he did with Toronto as a higher upper, and he just was tired of it. And I guess he went to Columbus because who wants to go to Columbus? Hey, Johnny.
He's gonna be like, "Hey Johnny, who's the hardest working player on the team? Make a list for me. Write it down. Put it under my door. Put a Hershey's kiss in there too."
Fucking God. He's
Yeah,
gonna
man.
get the Daryl
I don't
Sutter
know,
treatment
man.
from him.
I don't. I don't know if I really understand it in the sense that I feel. I mean, didn't we just go through this with the Sutter thing? Like again, like you
Clearly.
know my stance. I still am pro Sutter. I don't. I think he got. I don't know. I think he could have probably got one more chance. Um, Babcock. I understand. Like, give him a chance. See what he is. He does have the resume. Babcock to me just doesn't seem like to fit the repertoire of the Blue Jackets. I just don't see it. I mean, it could work. I mean, Tortorella was there for a reason. I mean that they're two different coaches though. And that's the thing. I'm trying to think now. Do I know Babcock's style of coaching? I can't really remember what it is right now.
It's also you got to realize he hasn't really coached in a very long
Is
time
it?
as
It's
well.
more old style, right? And
Yeah,
so,
it's an older style.
but I don't know if Columbus's team is built like that, right? So that's a whole thing. We'll see. I mean, I could see Columbus definitely struggling at the start to get changed to used to a new system. But we'll see, right? Maybe someone who pushes their players to, you know, gain that extra mile, maybe that does help them. But I did not expect this, honest to goodness. Most Jackets fans don't seem to enjoy it as well. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think the Babcock trade was a good hire or not? Let us know in the comments. Well, let's talk about the Flames here because we haven't done that in a minute. Because they haven't been in the playoffs. So that sucks. Finally, they chose a coach. And it was internally in the system, and it's going to be Ryan Huska is going to be the coach of your Calgary Flames. The players seem very excited about this. I'm coming with this with an open mind. I just read an interview that Rasmus Anderson had with, I can't remember who did the interview, but he's very excited. And he said a few things that really intrigued me, saying how, he really pushed them. He's definitely hard on his players, especially the young guys. He wants the best out of them, but he definitely is a coach that wants the best out of him. And it sounded exactly like what Huska was saying in the presser. And also, too, I gotta love how Craig Conroy does his press conferences. The dude just says it. He doesn't say it robotically like it's business.
He's straight up about it.
There's some sincerity to it. And I feel like that's something that I love to hear as a fan because, it feels like the rest of the organization is kind of just, they don't care what people think. They're going to do their own thing. It's their boys club. But Conroy, being a part of that boys club as he is, but it's nice to get a little bit of integrity and honesty in there.
Oh, okay. I got a lot to say about this because I think for teams and organizations, it's very rare when you see a GM and a head coach basically get promoted in the same organization to a head role or a GM role, right? Because obviously you and I were kind of thinking, we would always bring someone in from the outside. But no, I really like this idea of just promoting guys that have been in organization long term, because look at the connections they already have with management, players, and coaches around them. Especially when you look at our new head coach. He was in the system head coaching the Stockton Heat back from 2014 to 18. And then he became a head coach right beside some other head coaches with the Flames and even Sutter. So honestly, respect for getting the promotion, especially for both, especially for Ryan. Honestly, I'm just curious what we do with Mitch Love, because I wonder, even Conroy mentioned in the press conference, one of the guys asked him about Mitch Love do you think he's going to interview to become an assistant, or what's his plan? So it sounds like potentially Mitch Love could potentially become an assistant head coach here.
I'm going to give you some hope, because I did read today that Kirk Muller might no longer be with the organization, so that would leave an assistant spot open.
Yeah.
So possibly, and I hope so, because the success he did, he deserves a little bit of a promotion or raise. So I'd like to kind of see that. And maybe that's what they do, is when Huska's time's done, that they think Love is going to be, put into that position. So maybe it's just kind of like a whole mentor progression system, which might be good, for me and honestly, yeah, exactly. He knows the players, knows the system, knows the city. But to me, my full judgment won't happen until we see how the season goes.
Yeah.
But everything I heard from the press conference, I did not mind. I enjoyed it. And honestly, I'm excited because the players are excited. So I'm excited,
Yeah, that's why I was super excited, because I knew I had an idea it was either going to be Mitch Love or Huska, because I'm like, I don't see Conroy bringing an outside source yet, unless it's super necessary or something. I see the same way how he was brought up. And honestly, it's really good because you have all the connections all around you, and you've been there for years, and you understand the culture, and what this team really wants right now is to win. And I think, especially Conroy in this press conference as well, mentioned a lot about Elias Lindholm, because apparently Conroy and the head coach, Ryan, did talk to Elias Lindholm. And Elias Lindholm sounded like he was happy about the coaching, who they chose to coach. So that gives a lot of glimmer of hope as well to if this player wants to sign an extension with us or not. And again, I wouldn't complain if we get a third overall pick out of it. But at the same time, I would love if we do keep Elias Lindholm around. So
yeah, the value is there. And of course, we'll see how it happens, because we don't really know how Conroy is gonna shape. But it seems like he's doing the things that the fans want. you sign Oscar Dansk too, so he become your AHL starter. So then what happens with Wolf, right? It could be Wolf's time to be the backup. You know,
Well,
I love Vladar, but I was saying this last season. Vladar's time is going to shine in another league, in another team. Sorry, unfortunately. So
I was going to say, funny enough, the other day during the Stanley Cup Finals, there's a lot of rumors with Noah Hannafin.
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
So you might potentially be looking at we're probably bringing up a defenseman too, and from the AHL as well. If we trade Noah Hannafin for I have a feeling we would go for a forward, because you would probably trade. I could see us trading Vladar and Hannafin in a package. I really could.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you could get a good return for it. I really hope it's good.
Imagine us getting like a top 6 guy.
Anybody?
Do you want a 16th overall pick, our backup, and a defenseman? We could help Canadian.
That would be too bad.
Out.
I mean, yeah, I
got a top 6. We've always wanted another top 6.
Top 6
more Lucic in the top 6. It's not a bad idea. Hey, dude, it's not a bad idea.
Well, how do you feel if he's getting paid minimum?
Lucic?
Yeah.
But I want room for the other guys.
He ain't phased, baby. He ain't phased, baby.
I ain't phased.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of things exciting. One thing I can say, though, is that, again, the players are happy, so that's good. And Huska says he will push, and he has a system that he wants to put in place. So maybe it's a whole bunch of putting Richie out for shootouts. We'll see.
Oh, my God. If we see Richie out on a shootout again, I'm going to be livid. But like I said, again, I'm really excited to see what Ryan Huska does as head coach for the Flames. I can't judge until I see how he coaches through a season. So super excited. T-Dog, we got one more coach to talk about, don't we?
Peter Laviolette will be the New York Rangers head coach. He'll be back in New York again. Laviolette is a seasoned veteran to this, but he's had success, right? 06, Carolina, and go wins. Took the Preds and the Flyers to the finals as well too.
He was with actually, he's been to a Stanley Cup Finals in the last few years. He was with Nashville as a head coach.
Yeah, Nashville, of course, the Philly series in 10 when Kane did that goal, and then of course 06. But yeah, so it comes back to New York in some sort of fashion. But his system works. I mean, he's been doing it. He's been at it for so long, and it works every so often. It could be a good one. New York, to me, though, it's not your coaching problem. It's
what
is your got to come to play, man? Your players got to come to play when you need to. New York really just proved that, like, you can't NBA All-Star team the NHL. You can't just stack up with a bunch of just high-end talent names and expect to win it. No, you gotta actually give your goaltender some room to play. You know.
I think especially if you look at the Rangers right now, what do you do with that situation? You kind of went all in on Patrick Kane. You obviously now he's a free agent, and I doubt you guys can re-sign him, because now you also look at that young team. You got to sign those young players, and you probably let Patrick Kane walk, and it's probably just another hope for playoff season again. I mean, again, like Peter isn't a bad coach either. It's just the team, I think, like you said, really needs to come out and play, because that was what's stopping you. You guys were at a conference finals the other season, and now you got first round exited by the worst people you could have gotten first round exited by.
The whole thing, yeah. Proud about that. What the heck?
Yeah.
Trying to forget about it. It's weird how playoffs go so quick. Yeah, New York is another team that we could look with high interest in the offseason. Because, like, think about it. Lafreniere has been admits in talks to being a trade piece.
Yeah.
So that could be something. I think same with Hedel, maybe Kako. So your young kids line could be disbanded. But why not this? Some of those high-star talented names you have, let them go and keep some cap space for some depth players, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think maybe it's a leadership thing. New York's got to solve it, but Laviolette to me is a good step in some sense. Although I don't think it was I don't think it's Ballon's problem. Laviolette is a great coach, and you know what? Why not succeed again? Because it seems like teams like New York, I mean, teams that he's like, okay, Carolina had a bunch of like a few Hall of Famers, clutch players. Philly did too, right? Chris Pronger. You have
Yeah.
some well-known names. Nashville, good depth team. So maybe he wins with a depth team. So maybe that's what you do, right? You make a team with a lot of depth and great and rolls 4 lines, and that's how you win, because maybe Laviolette's system can work like that. We'll see. But
Maybe
I mean, New York's
Patrick
in a
Kane.
weird spot.
Maybe Patrick Kane goes back to Chicago because now franchise center's back there again.
Oh, yeah, but so he's injured, right? And won't be there for 5-6 months. He might not be playing till December/January.
Yeah, I think
So he's
yeah, because he injured was it his knee?
shoulder. I can't remember, but
Oh yeah, but he injured something bad that he had to get surgery.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, boys, I think that's all we got for off-season talk.
But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, listening, however you are consuming this content. Common question of the day: which coach is going to have the most success out of all these coaches that have just been signed? Also, too, Columbus, are they better with their signings? I guess we'll see. But hey, guys, if you did enjoy this, leave a thumbs up. If you did like that, leave a comment down below. Thank you for all the subscribes and all that stuff. Also, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, all that fun stuff. And remember, guys, keep on rocking in the free world. And B-Dog, take it away.
Honestly, yeah, T-Dog took that all away for me. Thank you guys so much again. Please subscribe to us. We love the support you guys always give us, and we just keep growing every day. We love to see it. And hey, guys, we'll see you in the next one.
Boom.
Peace.